Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome UCSC. We're super excited to welcome you to our Chinese names pronunciation workshop here hosted by Global Engagement and more specifically, International Student Services and Programming. My name is Andy Ng. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Assistant Director of International Programming here in our office. And I'm joined today by two of my wonderful colleagues that will be helping us get to know a little bit more about the best ways to pronounce our students, staff members, our community members' Chinese names, and so that we can create this inclusive community for all of our students. So before we begin, I wanted to go over a couple of Zoom logistics for all of us today in this space. So as you all joined our conversation today, everyone is on mute. And so we would like everyone to please stay on mute during the duration of the workshop, but we will have an opportunity at the end for breakout rooms where you'll be able to practice with the mic on if you wish. But during today's workshop, we encourage you to practice the pronunciation with our two leads while still staying muted. And of course, we do encourage you to keep your cameras on if you're able to, as a way for us to see who's in the audience today. You're able to toggle on speaker and gallery mode as you wish, and you're also able to turn on the live transcription that should be happening right now too. And as a reminder, this session will be recorded for all of us to look back on later and for you to share with your colleagues. And so, no need to take any notes. We just encourage you to sit back, relax, practice with us. And again, we're excited for you to join us today. A little bit about who we are in our office. So, International Student Services and Programming, or ISSP, is one of a few units within the Division of Global Engagement. So, you may have heard of us from as ISSP, as GE, Global Engagement. You probably are also familiar with Global Learning, which is our study abroad office. All of us make up the Division of Global Engagement, and us here in ISSP specifically works with international students that are joining us for a 4 or 5 year degree seeking program on exchange, for example. And our population focuses a lot on the F1 and J1 student experience. And so our office does a lot of advising for students on immigration related matters. And we do a lot of programming as well, such as offering this program, which is happening during International Education Week. IEW for short, is a week that is a joint venture by the Department of State and the Department of Education to really bring globalization to all universities in our nation this week and to really help promote study abroad opportunities and just generally intercultural awareness and communication amongst our community members. So this is an exciting workshop that we are offering this year. And I am delighted to now introduce our two speakers today who will be leading us through this Chinese names pronunciation workshop. So without further ado, I pass the floor over to our experts, Chen Ling and Andy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our workshop on Chinese name pronunciation. We are so glad to have you all here today to learn and engage in this important part of Chinese culture. My name is Chunling Hu, or in Chinese, Hu Chunling. I am an international student advisor in Global Engagement Division, UCSC, and I'm thrilled to be joined with our fantastic Andy Lan. Together, we'll be guiding you through today's session. Andy?
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to our workshop. And I am a currently sophomore student that study on standard physics in UCSC, and I'm happy to guide everyone through the Chinese pronunciation.
Thank you. Next, so why is it so important to learn Chinese name pronunciations? So we can see from the most recent data that China has ranked constantly as the top country of origin for international students, both at undergraduate and graduate levels. So with so many international students from China attending US institutions, it is such an important aspect to show our respect by pronouncing their names correctly. And it is a simple, direct, but powerful way to pronounce name correctly and it helps to create positive relationships with the students, the colleges in China, and to create this inclusive and supportive environment here. Next.
Okay, so why does accurate pronunciation matter? For Chinese speakers, we may worry that people from America may not able to pronounce our name correctly, and foreign people may worry if they can pronounce it in a right way. And I want to share my personal experience on this. So in our campus, students are from a diverse cultural background, and some have names rooted in other language. In such circumstances, being able to pronounce someone's name correctly help create an inclusive environment. And being able to pronounce someone's name correctly help, yeah, sorry about that. Let me share, I didn't feel a strong sense of connection to my English name when I first used it here. When somebody called me, I may not respond instinctively. Maybe I should use my Chinese name as my preferred name when I first come here. But I have tried that, and I really found out some of my classmates they are struggle to pronounce it. So I give up on that. And I hope today's workshop can help everyone to pronounce the name correctly. So it will be more Chinese friendly environment. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Yeah, so sometimes it's quite not so easy to pronounce names in a foreign language. Next. Oh, yeah, before we start, I'd like to just ask you this very simple question. Do you know that Chinese language is not the same? This is not single uniform language, but a family of several dialects spoken across China. So Mandarin is the most common, widely used one. So Mandarin is the official language. It is the version taught in school, and it is the one used in media. So today we're going to just focus on the Mandarin pronunciations of these Chinese names. But just for you to know that there are so many dialects spoken across China, and they are so much different. Each of these have distinct pronunciations and even vocabularies. So sometimes it could be challenging for dialect speakers to understand each other if without Mandarin. So here's the example, how to say 你好, which means hello in Chinese. So for Mandarin, it is 你好. And for people from Shanghai, it is called Shanghainese. It sounds like 侬好. And Andy, do you know how to pronounce that in Cantonese?
You
I
would
know
say
it's
Leiho.
Leiho.
Leiho, yes. And you see on this picture, there's one girl from Taiwan. I'm not sure if my pronunciation is correct because I'm not from that region. So it sounds like Li Ho. I'm not sure, but it's different from Mandarin. So that's to show you that sometimes don't feel surprised if you meet people speaking Chinese, but so much different from what you learned. They're likely they're speaking their dialects. Yeah, next. Okay, so let's start with some basics of Chinese names. First of all, orders. Chinese names have family names come first, followed with their given names. So this represents the importance of family and heritage. And usually the family name has one characters in most cases. And sometimes you will see family name composed like two characters, which is we call compound family name, but that is not quite common. And for given name, it usually two characters, one or two characters. And it is interesting to mention that each Chinese character has a meaning. So take my name, for example. My name in Chinese pronounced as Hu Chunling. So Hu is my family name, and Chunling is my given name. And there's two characters in my given name, and each of them has a meaning. 春 means spring in Chinese. Ling means some beautiful sound, the sound from spring. So together you can see my parents give me a beautiful name that means spring and the sound of spring. That maybe represents hope, vitality, prosperity, anything nice associated with spring. So that's the meaning and the pronunciation of my name. Andy,
Yeah,
what?
and for me,
Mhm.
my Chinese name is pronounced as Lan Qi. So the last name I have means some kind of flower, Lan, and Qi means some kind of beautiful gemstone, and I means kindness. So I think that's what my family expect me to be, or something like that. And it's a traditional you name like your kids with a beautiful name. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, parents always try to find the best, most beautiful names for the kids. Thank you. Okay, so now let's move on to pinyin. So as we said, today we just focus on Mandarin pinyin. So pinyin is the tool that is used to help pronounce the Mandarin words using those Latin letters. These letters may look familiar, and some of these letters also sound similar to English, but some others are different, so much different from English. So today we're just gonna focus on those pinyin letters that is different from English. So those letters are marked in red. And we can see there are three key components in pinyin: consonants, vowels, and the tones. We will just go over each of those. Now, let me just read these red pinyin letters for you, and we will have examples and practice later together. First, consonants. Q is pronounced as chi, X as she, ZH as zh, CH as ch, SH as sh, Z as z, C as c. Okay, I can go slowly, maybe. Now, vowels, letter O as O, letter E as letter U as U, letter U with two dots as U, letter UI as way, AO as ow, OU as O, IU as you, IE as yeah, UE as yue, UN as wen, UN with two dots as yun, ENG as n. And next, tones. We all know that Chinese names are so complicated with tones. So there are four tones with the same pronunciation with different tones. It will have total different meanings. So, for example, ma, 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 ma. So actually, this is four different characters in Chinese, all with the same pronunciation as ma, but different tones. Okay, let's move on. Oh, here's an example to show the difference of English names and pinyin. Andy, would you like to
Yes.
tell?
So you may wonder, like, can we transfer a name from other language into Chinese? And the answer is yes. And when we do that, we will pick some character that sounds very similar to the name you have in other language. And then we will just pronounce those Chinese characters. For example, my name Andy will be sounds like Andy in Chinese. And we pick those two words that's kind of common to use someone else to like name their kids. And oh, okay. Yeah, so I just saw the question from the chat. So Andy, um, An can means peace and safe, and D is
Something
yeah,
clever.
I don't
Yeah.
really know what that means. But
So
it's like we're more focused on picking something that just sounds similar to your name instead of having a meaning. So, and for Thomas, it will be sounds like 托马斯, and for Alice, it will sounds like 爱丽丝. And one difference I want to mention is when we pronounce those names in Chinese, we will give it a tone, and that's one of the, I think, a difference between Chinese and English.
yes, interesting. So we can tell by its pronunciations, like this is the translation from an English name. Because actually in Chinese tradition, probably we will not name our kids a boy as 托马斯. So sometimes we can feel from the way it's pronounced like this is a foreign name, even though it can be written in Chinese characters. Yeah. Okay, next. Oh, here comes tones. So as I said just now, there are 4 tones. And as Chinese language has these 4 tones, even with the same pronunciation, different tones can give a total different meaning of this word. So here's the 4 tones. The first tone is flat one, ma. So with this pronunciation, first tone, ma means mother in Chinese. The second tone, it's a rising, it's like uphill tone. Ma. Ma means numbness in Chinese. And the third tone, it's like make a turn. It's falling first and then rising. So it's like a valley tone. Ma. Ma. It means horse. And the fourth tone, it's falling downhill tone. Ma. Ma is a verb. It means scold or even curse. So ma has 4 totally different meanings in Chinese with different tones. But don't worry too much about that, because today we just will start easy with neutral tones or flat tones that you feel comfortable with. Because in many cases in Chinese names, people expect to pronounce the last few characters in the names in a neutral term. So the neutral pronunciation, the neutral term pronunciation will not cause much confusion in understanding a Chinese name. So we can just go with the neutral tone or the flat tone. Next.
Yeah, and now I am going to pronounce every character of those consonants. And just to say, when I pronounce the example, I will pronounce it in flat tones, which is what we use to pronounce others Chinese name in English. And for the first one, Q, it sounds like qi. So it's like a cheese in cheese. So CH, qi, qi. And for example, it will be 青、秋、千、青、秋、千. And the next one will be X. So it sounds like shrink, 西, 西. It's quite different from the word we pick, but that's the one that's most similar in a way. An example will be 虚、宣、先、虚、宣、先. And the next one, Z, will be birds. So it sounds like z, z. And the example will be 增、周、增、周. And for the C, it's cats, cats. And ц, ц. An example will be 脆、糙、猜、催、糙、猜. Okay, so for the ZH, it will be George, J, Zh, Zh. An example will be 张、周、招、张、周、招. Okay, and for CH, it will be 吃、吃、church, 吃. An example will be 张、陈、称、张、称. And for SH, it will be she, flourish. And the example will be 伤、身、诗、伤、身、诗. And I think we can move to the next slide.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Now let's continue with vowels. Okay, so these vowels may have some different pronunciations from English. First, letter O as or in tall. For example, pour, 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 pour. Letter E as a in away, away. For example, the, ge, he, de, ge, he. Letter U as u in moon. For example, tu, u, lu, tu, u, lu. Here comes the letter U with two dots. So it is yu. For example, ju, chu, xu. Sorry, I should use the first tone. Ju, chu, xu. And here comes a special one because when U with two dots combined with L, in Chinese pinyin, we tend to write it as LV just to differentiate it from LU. So it is LV, sounds like 铝, 铝. Okay, let's go on with UI as way in away, 催, 催. OU as in as no, O in no, O. For example, 周, 抽, 周, 抽. IU as you in yogurt, 流, 流, 流. Okay, so these are the vowels in the next slides. Oh, some more vowels. IE as ye in yes. For example, 谢, 爹. So it's dear, it's not die. 谢 and dear. ENG, N as mung being, N. For example, 陈, 称, 陈. UE as 约. For example, 薛, 薛. UN, red UN as 温, such as 孙, 吞, 孙, 吞. UN, the green UN with two dots as 晕, such as 熏, Chun, yun, yun. Next, UAN as one, the red one, one. For example, tuan, tuan, chuan, chuan. UAN, the green one with two dots as yuan, chuan, chuan, yuan, yuan, xuan, xuan. It's a little difficult, huh? Oh yeah, so we got a question in chat. If there's a way we can know if the word written, can we go back to last slide? Next, last one. Oh yes, here. So when the pinyin letter U with two dot is used, it is pronounced as U, but there's only three consonants that can be used together with U, where we can just save these two dots. That is G, Qi, Xi. In example, you can see the first three ones. G, Qi, Xi used together with U with two dots. We do not write those two dots because these three are special ones. And the other consonants used with U with two dots, we all write them as V in English letters. So that's kind of the rule because Ji, Qi, Xi is the special ones, and because just because Ji, Qi, Xi cannot be used together with U, we cannot pronounce in Chinese Mandarin as Ji combined with U, Zhu. We do not have this sound in Chinese. So when we see a letter U comes after Ji, Qi, Xi, it must be U, the U with two dots. So that's the exception. Thank you for the question. It can be a little difficult. Yes, let's go back to the next slides. Oh, yes, the vowels. The next one, please. Oh, here is the fun part. Yes, we've covered those basics of Mandarin Pinyin, learned the consonants, vowels, and some of the tones. And here we can just have some fun and challenge ourselves with this classic Chinese tongue twister. So this one shows sometimes we need to position our tongue flat or rolled in our mouth. And it makes different sounds and of course with different meanings in Chinese. So I can try first and you can see if you can read this correctly and if possible quickly. 四是四，十是十，40是40，14是14。So it's a quite classical one because 四是四, it shows with your tongue flat or rolled in your mouth, it is two words. You want to try by yourselves? Andy, you want to try?
Yeah, 四是四，十是十，40是40，14是14。And one thing I want to mention here is like on pinyin, they all look the same, but in Chinese character, they are quite different. And the difference they have is like tone. They have a different tone. And when we read a character with different tone, it means we are reading another character. They have different, totally different meaning. And I think that's something like in English, when you use something like a different tone, it just kind of show a kind of emotion, but it won't change the meaning of the words. But in Chinese, it's different.
Yeah. So that may be one of the reasons Chinese is so difficult to learn because it's not only the language of the sound, it is also the language of the sight. You can see the words with the same sound but different meanings. So you have to combine the sound and the join together. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now comes the common surnames. Andy?
Yeah, so for those common names, I will read them in flat tone. and then read them in the with tone, like the how to pronounce these words. So it will be Wang, Li, Zhang, Liu, Chen, Yang, Huang, Zhao, Wu, Zhou. This is quite different for me to pronounce because I know I am not pronouncing it in the right character, but yeah, that's how it goes. And we pick several like common ones, and maybe you have seen them before. Yeah, and in Chinese they pronounce like Wang, Li, Zhang, Liu, Chen, Yang, Huang, Zhao, Wu, Zhou.
So these may are very common surnames, then maybe we can see from our student names. Yes, we can just practice with the neutral tone, not necessarily its correct Chinese tone, because will not make any like trouble or confusion in understanding, because these are very common surnames in Chinese. Next. Okay, let's put it together.
And for those names, I will read them in flat tone again, and just let you know when we like put pinyin together, we will do something like for the HAN, we will do something like He An Han. So we will put two sounds together and try to pronounce it, and that's how we learn it in like primary school. And those Chinese character will be Han, Zhang, Yi, Wang, Tian, Yin, Chen, Wei, Huang, Yue, Zhao, Jia, Wei, Cai, Xin, Yue, Pen, Ren, Liu, Nan, Sun, Qiang, Chen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So remember, actually, in Chinese, our last name or family name comes first. So this is not the order we pronounce our names in Chinese, but still the correct pronunciation. Thank you. Next.
Yeah, and here I want to introduce a little bit of the history of the pinyin as Romanic system we've been using widely now. And this system is being start to accepted by like Taiwan and all the other country other than China that also speak Mandarin too from like 2000. So in 19th century, the most common Romanism system is another one called Wade Gills. And we'll say some last name that's kind of familiar with what we introduced today, but it's like different. They may use another system that's from 19th century. And the reason is because like if you're not directly from the mainland of China after 2000s, you probably will use the other spelling for Chinese name. And if you met some like last name, you don't know if it's from China or like you don't know how to pronounce it, it's better just to ask the people who has it. Yeah, and next slide.
Okay, Indy, before we break up rooms, I see there's a question from chat that if we can tell by the names, if the gender of the student, actually, I would say it is quite difficult if we just try to tell by the pronunciations, if we get to see the characters, uh, sometimes we can tell by the characters because sometimes the word, even with the same pronunciations, it's different in characters in writing. So sometimes some writing or some characters are more likely to be associated with girls. Like in my name, Ling, uh, the writing Ling in my name is often used for females. But there's other Lings, lots of other Lings in Chinese that can be used for males. So just with the pronunciations, it's quite difficult to tell. But with the characters, yes, it's possible. Okay, now it's practice time.
Indeed, it is practice time. Thank you so much, Chunling and Andy, for leading us in that workshop today so far. What we're going to do now is that we're going to go into our breakout rooms. And so Chunling and Andy will be in two separate rooms together, and they'll be going ahead and sharing their screen here, where we're going to practice pronouncing the names that you see on the screen here. And we also invite you to ask questions in these smaller spaces, as well as if you have any names that you've been dying to know how to properly pronounce them in Mandarin Chinese. This is the time to ask Chenling and Andy in the small breakout rooms. So feel free to unmute yourself in these rooms. We're going to go ahead and end the session from the breakout rooms. And so I wanted to say thank you again on behalf of ISSP for attending our workshop today. We certainly hope that you found this helpful and that you continue to practice pronouncing Chinese names through many different avenues. And so we thank you again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now as well.